Hello and welcome to World Talks on TVP World with me, Ashim Kumar. Ukraine evacuates more civilians from Donetsk region as Russia's offensive unfolds around Pokrovsk. What can Kyiv do to halt the Russian progress? Well, is peace, even a ceasefire, a realistic possibility in this brutal war? To explore these and related questions, we're joined by Piotr Kaszuwara, President of UA Future Foundation. Mr. Kaszuwara, welcome to TVP World and thank you very much for taking the time to join us.
Thank you for the invitation. Good evening.
Good evening to you, sir. So let's start with an overview. How would you describe the front lines at the moment in the war between Russia and Ukraine?
You know, our NGO, me personally, I'm helping to the people at the front line from the 2022, from the 4th of March 2022. And for all this time, my only hope was that we will go further and further to help to the people from the released Ukrainian territories. And unfortunately, we are able to help closer and closer, and many cities that we have been visiting in last 4 years now are under the occupation are occupied by Russia. I remember Pokrovsk very well. It was very busy town with nice restaurants. We've been going there quite often to the shopping mall, going for pizza. It was a very popular Italian pizza place. We've been sleeping there in the hotel Druzhba, and now this hotel doesn't exist. Pizza place doesn't exist. Shopping mall doesn't exist. Pokrovsk is actually unable to come in and to evacuate people and to deliver anything. Like, what would you like to deliver to the city that is under constant attack? So unfortunately, interview by interview, I need to say that the situation right now, currently at the front line, has been never that bad in last 4 years. We see that Russians are taking over new villages. They are taking over new cities. They are continuing their offensive to the city of Dobropilia. This is very dangerous because I remember for last 4 years we've been using the road as the volunteers through Dobropilia to get to Donbas region. Now this road and this city, my friend had a nice coffee shop in Dobropole. We've been always visiting him. He had the recipes for coffee from all around the world, and now it's bombed. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, I want to talk about the military situation in just a second, but before we do that, tell me something about the evacuees from the places that you mentioned, Pokrovsk and others. How many are managing to get out? How are they being looked after? Are they managing to get out with, in relative safety? And what provisions have been made for their comfort?
It's very hard to say how many people is waiting for the evacuation. I expect that most of the people has been evacuated already. The evacuation from the frontline cities is very well organized since, let's say, 1.5 to 2 years. The evacuation from this kind of territories is done by the military, by the armored vehicles of specialized volunteers, specialized police, for example. They are getting into very dangerous places and trying to get out people from their people, they definitely know who to contact. They have phone numbers, they have special Telegram channels, they are in touch with fire emergency, for example, from this kind of regions. I remember these kind of situations in Bakhmut. So everyone who would like to be evacuated from these kind of places can contact any military, any police, any fireman to be evacuated. Most of the people, they have been already evacuated, but as I said before, unfortunately, Russians, they are getting to the new villages. So this evacuation is going further and further. Most of the children has been evacuated already long time ago. Obviously, we still have situations that some unresponsible people are hiding children in the basements. This is very dangerous for them to stay there. We still have old people, disabled people who couldn't move before, and they've been hoping that the war will never come to their home. But unfortunately, the army showed up and they need to be evacuated or they will die. So we don't know where Russians will stop, and this is the big problem. Some of the people, they just don't want to be evacuated.
Yeah.
This is another thing.
Well, I understand. I mean, that you often see that in war zones where people refuse to leave despite the danger. Let's talk now about the military situation, if we may. From what you say, the Russian military is making slow and steady gains, which for a long time it hadn't. I mean, there was a stalemate, mainly because of the huge Russian losses. What has changed? Why have they started moving forward again?
It depends. What do you mean by the word slow? Because you can slowly take the fortress under your control, and you can very fast take the control over the wooden village. This is a different situation. Now, Russians, they are taking control under the fortress. And this is the big problem, because Donetsk region is not this kind of territory that you can know from our reality, that if you cut one of the roads or you destroy one of the roads, then you have plenty of other roads that you can get anywhere. In Donbas, to get to Kramatorsk, the main city of the region, there are only 3 roads. One of those roads is already under Russian occupation. They've been trying to take control over this road for a couple of months. It was very difficult because this road is placed on the huge hill, and this is always a problem for the side that is attacking to take the control over the hill. But Russians, they managed to do it, and now they are getting to the very strategical positions to hit Konstantinivka, to hit Druszkivka, to hit Kramatorsk. They are in very good position to get to the other road on the front of Pokrovsk, to cut the second road from Dobropila that I mentioned before. And unfortunately, they are also going forward on the north of the Donbas region, near Izium in Kharkiv region. This is the third road that Russians are trying to cut. If they will cut all of those 3 roads, you can say that Donbas is done, because there is no other way for Ukraine to transport anything and to get to Donbas. That's why maybe it looks very slow, but as I said before, now Russians, they are taking fortress, not a wooden village.
But strategically significant moves forward. Now, as we've heard, Russia has lost hundreds of thousands of soldiers, and there was a sense that they were running out of steam. Where are these new soldiers coming from? Are they mercenaries? Are they loans from North Korea? Are they Chechen mercenaries? Where are they coming from?
We definitely do not have any information that any North Korean or Chechens, maybe yes, because this is one of the countries that is in the Russian Federation. But we do not have any information about North Koreans, for example, fighting on the Ukrainian ground. They have been fighting in the Kursk region, but not in Donbas, for example. So most of the soldiers they still come from very far regions of Russia. Most of these people who are fighting at the front line, they do not come from Moscow or they do not come from St. Petersburg. I've been talking to some prisoners of war from Russia, and I've been asking them for the purposes why they showed up in Ukraine to kill people in general. And they are mostly saying that they wanted to participate in this war for money. Because they come from very poor villages, and this amount of money that they can earn at the war in Ukraine, this is usually like a year, salary for their family. And we need to understand also the Russian mentality. If the man who is an alcoholic, for example, or drug addict, and he's beating his wife and children for all his life, if he would die at the front line, it will be actually quite good for the family, and except to not have a brutal person at home, they will receive some money for his death. So a lot of people is not thinking in the way as we are thinking, that the dad, a husband or a brother
Right.
is going.
Understood. Now, we've only got about a minute or so left. Very, very quickly, if you would, please. Now, Ukraine is receiving more and more, eventually, modern weapons from the US. The tap has been reopened, finally. How much of a difference is that making? Just very briefly, please.
Yes, eventually, I think this is a very, very good word. Ukraine is still waiting for the deeds. We have had a lot of promises from the Western countries, but we need to see it in the reality. We need to see this weapon on the ground, because without Western support, without the support from the US and from the European Union, Ukraine cannot survive Russian attacks and Russian offensive.
Right. Well, let's hope the help arrives soon. Thank you, Mr. Kaszuwara, for bringing us up to date. Have a good evening, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye. That brings us to the end of this episode of World Talks. Don't go away, though. Lots more coming up. Goodbye.